Now the face palette, basic, but you, hey all y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Hey guys, and I'm not sure if you've seen this outfit already, but I did do, if I have, it'll be linked down below. If not, wait for it. But I did do a products that I regret not buying. And today's gonna be not a products I regret buying, but it's products that I'm glad I didn't buy. Because I feel like, I mean, in all these videos, I can preface it with being like, I feel like the makeup market is just so super saturated and we're getting releases every left and right every other day. You know, there's a lot of stuff we want, there's a lot of stuff we don't want. And there are some things that we don't end up buying for one reason or another that we can look back on and just give ourselves a little pat on the back and be like, whoo, dodged a bullet there. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Not necessarily dodged a bullet that these products ended up being bad, but after the hype dies down and you're able to look back and think back, you're able to just be like, well, I didn't really need it as much as I thought I did. Okay, the first one here is, I feel like when this palette released is when my like die-hard relationship with Urban Decay kind of started to fracture a little bit. But that is the Urban Decay Distortion palette, where they had like all those bright colors and then they had like transformative toppers in a row on the top. The packaging was beautiful, all like crystallized and fancy and holographic. It looked stunning. It was in kind of the same shape component as the OG, like forever ago, Urban Decay Gwen Stefani collab. And I remember looking at this and just being like, you know, I really, really, really want that. And like, I felt like at that time, I was like really trying to push myself as being like, well girl, this was the time when like the whatever came down on Tarte, Too Faced, and Urban Decay, where I just started realizing that I didn't want and didn't need everything that they released. And I feel like this palette was just kind of the starting point, the tip of the practical person iceberg for me. And another one that if you'd asked me like 5, 6 years ago, if I would have not bought this and be grateful that I didn't, my mind would have been blown. But the Lorac Pro 4. When I first started my channel, the Lorac Pro 1 and 2 were two of my end-all be-all palettes. I still love the 1. The 2 is, I love it, but I don't love it as much as the 1. I have the 3. The 3 is okay. And then the 4th came out, and I looked at it, and I was like, so basically, we've got all the same shade and then 2 deeper mattes. And as someone who has learned that she likes inclusivity as well as the ability to get a lot of stuff, a lot of looks out of one palette, this one just didn't have it. And I felt kind of sad about it because, you know, the collector in me, that you gotta have them all, was just like, if you just get it, come on, you can get it, you can review it, it'll be great. But I ended up not getting it because I felt like compared, I understand there's only so much you can do, but compared to the Lorac Pro 1 and 2, and even the 3, this one had the worst case of like that matte row. It all looked so similar, and you better bet putting that stuff on your eyes, it was going to look the same. You just kind of get the same like peachy berry, whatever light setting shade going on there. So I look at it and I'm like, is there a small part of me that's like, you know, at some point, if I were to get it for like $10, would I buy it just to have all 4? Yes, I would. Let's be real. But I'm kind of glad I didn't buy it because it just, I know for a fact it would just sit there being number 4, but not getting used because it's not a very well thought out color theory. All right, this one is kind of that, like, you've got that internal desire, but you got to feel proud for yourself for not getting it and being glad you didn't get it because you knew it's not going to get the use that it deserves or that you deserve to get out of it for one reason or another. And let me tell you, I was sorely surely tempted on this last Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. When these went on sale, I was like, you gonna get you some. This is the Tartist Pro Remix, the eyeshadow palette and the face palette, because they listened and they decided not to put a cream product in that face palette. You guys know I love bright color. I love like cha-cha-cha-cha and the blushes and the highlighters, whatever, in that face palette looked so beautiful. But in the eyeshadow palette, there were a lot of like shimmers, and Tarte doesn't really have my favorite shimmer they kind of don't even have my favorite formula ever. But if like all those brights had been mattes, I'd have bought it in a heartbeat. I probably would have bought it when it first came out. But the fact that the majority of the palette is the shimmers, this like, I don't know, shimmer formula, it's just something that I'm really glad I didn't jump down on when it was on sale, because I know I would use something and prefer if it had a huge backbone of mattes. Now the face palette, my reasoning for being grateful for not buying that is very simple. You guys know, in recent months, years, whatever, with myself and my discovery, is I know that I don't use face palettes nearly as much as I should. I've got 1, 2, 3 drawers over there in my whatever makeup setup full of face palettes, contour, blush, highlighter, mixture of all of them that I don't use. You guys know I have the Tartist Pro Glow, the original. I hate those little flippy flappy door thingies. Like if they could have made it a whoop, just a lift up, that would have been phenomenal. That may have been the seal of the deal. But I just like, I'm so much more critical about like face palettes, because I'm like, you look so pretty, but I don't reach for the ones I have. I really, really don't. So this one, I'm just like, you kept your cool, you kept your head on your shoulders, and you did not give in. You did not give in. Another one that is kind of, once again, me being just like more honest with you all, because, you know, I gotta be honest, and there are brands that I really don't want to support. We've kind of talked about this. I may do an updated version. There are some of those brands that come out with products that I'm like, I'd really like that. And one of those is when Kylie Cosmetics reformulated her blush and highlighters. She gave them nice, sleeker plastic. Saying plastic sounds so horrible. Like, that's so much better. But when you think about her cheap cardboard packaging that they were in before, it is better. But she came out with a whole line of blushes and highlighters, and there were swatches and the packaging and the imprint. I was so close. I was like so close. But I'm so glad I did not get it. Not from a quality standpoint or anything like that, but because sticking to my moral guns is very important to me. Like, you know, when I say I'm not gonna buy from someone, because I do not need to add money to Miss Jenner's bank account so she can get lip and butt injections and buy $40,000 purses. I just don't. I just really don't. And I know that some people feel exactly the same way about Jeffree Star. How some people feel about Jeffree Star, that is exactly how I feel about Miss Kylie Jenner. So I am grateful that I was not pulled in by the beautiful packaging and the beautiful imprint and the shiny shiny and the blushy blushy. And I kept my moral ground. Something else that I'm so glad I didn't buy, because it would have ended up being a headache, are those Milani. They're somewhat newer, those like face palettes where it's like cute, these really small little triangular sections. I love me a lot of Milani products. I really do. I feel like, well, they're not hideously underrated, but I love their foundation. They got great highlighters. I like their concealer, their liquid lipsticks. There's a lot by them that I absolutely love. And when this came out, it was all like shiny and bright colors, and you've got the blushes and the highlighter, and I'm like, it's gonna be, even though I think it was like $15 or $20. And I'm like, that's a little pricey, Milani. That's a little pricey. But like, you know, I kind of, you know, when you see a new product, you're either trolling through trend mood. I guess that's a thing. Scrolling through trend mood and you see something new by a brand you like and you get hit with that first wave of initial like desire and the consumerism takes a hold of you and you're like, I'm gonna get it. But then, you know, I literally had to be like, well, once again, you don't use face palettes. That's a song that's been sung and sung before. And then if you look at the size of these like little strips, I mean, highlighter's fine. My highlighter brush is fairly precise, but I use a big old ginormous fluffy blush brush that would have been getting into I don't know how many of them blush colors. I think there were like 8 or so like shades in the whole thing. If they'd like given us 4 or I don't know, like 4 instead of 8, you know, 2 highlighters and 2 blushes, I think that would have been so much better. I probably would have been like, I'm gonna get it. So I guess it's a good thing that they didn't, but I'm just very happy that I was able to step back from that initial, you know, makeup bloodlust. Some other things that I'm really happy that I passed on. You know that my relationship with this brand has been going downhill recently. Miss Kat Von D, who back in the day, she released it, I bought it. I had 110% faith in her company and her quality control and what she released. I was a fan. And then when she released her highlighters, the metal crush highlighters, she also came out with like liquid clicky quickie pen highlighters. And, you know, my initial whatever as a once 100, you know, Kat Von D super supporter, I was like, well, I need to get this. And then as a more, you know, I don't really use liquid cream highlighters after they were released. I've heard, I haven't even seen them in people's like highlighter collection or declutter videos, if I'm being totally honest. And then she also came out with those like stick cream eyeshadows, and I just, you know, that there's the part of me that was the, you know, Kat Von D releases it, I buy it. And then there's the dwindling faith I have in her quality control, and then just the practicality. I don't use cream eyeshadows. I don't use liquid eyeshadows. I don't use liquid highlighters. And these are things that, like, I mean, I guess it's a testament to my progression that back in the day, Soraya would have purchased these without, you know, in a heartbeat, would have bought all the shades, all the colors, and now I'm able to just actually step back from the fanaticism of it all and realize what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use, and honestly be able to tell when I see a BS product. So being able to step back and not purchase something from a brand that you held so much devotion to is very empowering. And last but not least, something that was, it's kind of like a YouTube would make me buy it, but I'm glad that I resisted, or we're gonna discuss a little Natasha Denona. Or her little hideously overpriced mini palettes. I'm specifically talking, I mean, either the $24 jobs or the like $45 jobs. Basically, if it's an eyeshadow from Natasha Denona, insert exorbitantly expensive into the price. I am not opposed to having smaller palettes. You know, Kat Von D releases the smaller ones. Smashbox got some whatever, you know, I don't, the Huda Beauty gemstone ones, you know. But I feel like what you get versus how much you're paying when it comes to Natasha Denona. And I understand she has a formula that is some of y'all's end-all, be-all formula. You buy these palettes and you're like, this is the most amazing thing since the Messiah. And I'm over here trying to question whether I'm gonna pay $45 for a little teeny tiny dinky thing, you know, to 40, you know, for 5 shades. And I've seen them in Sephora and I've swatched them, and the shimmers are like really freaking emollient. They're like a nice shimmer formula, but I like a shimmer that's able to be put out here and can build on top of or under another shimmer for all shimmer looks. And that's just not a formula that's conducive for that. Great for cut creasing and putting all over the lid, which is how most people do their makeup. Just for me, like, there's been the temptation to bite the bullet and just be like, well, this is a great way for me to just, you know, just get a sample, a taste test, a very expensive taste test. But it's not as bad as, you know, $129 or $219. But I'm just glad I haven't, because when it comes to those smaller ones, especially when you've only got like 4 or 5 shades, those smaller ones, especially those like mini, oh my goodness, the eyeshadow pans are like that big. I know it's just gonna sit there and be like, I could reach for this thing for one color, or I could reach into this other palette that is that color plus everything else I need. Maybe there will be a day that comes when I try another Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette, but as of right now, and not being, you know, independently wealthy, it is not that day. And I'm going to cut it there. Definitely let me know what you guys, a product that, you know, you've been very glad that you resisted, either because it's something you found out you didn't really need or ended up being something that's total trash. All reasons are accepted within this channel, but thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!